8 men together control half the world's wealth. Who are these 8 men? Do we know who they are?
Well, of course. I mean, it's the top richest people in the world. I mean, Jeff Bezos is number one, and he's worth about $160 billion now. You know, I guess he lost a few billion this month.
We all did.
Amazon.
We all did. It was a
well,
rough month.
Maybe. You know, and he's a really big tree in a forest.
Okay.
He's like a giant sequoia in a forest. But the work I've been doing, the giants, the global power elite, is about the elites who manage global capital and are interconnected and know each other and are involved in a policy group agendas on how capital will be taken care of and protected. When I say the sociology of global power elite, we're looking at about 300 people, and we name them all in the book, who are the core policymakers and decision makers about global capital. They are the ones who are on the boards of directors of the $17 trillion giant investment companies like BlackRock and Vanguard and JP Morgan Chase and Allianz out of Germany. And each of those companies has an excess of $1 trillion. And you have to think what $1 trillion is. That's 1,000 billions. So some of them, you know, BlackRock this year has over $6 trillion of investment capital. There's 17 of them, and they collectively manage $41 trillion worth of wealth. And that was as of 2017. It's closer to $50 trillion now. Wealth is concentrating rapidly. These big engines, these giants of capital are the ones doing that. They make people like Bezos richer because they're looking for places to invest capital. And Amazon seems to them to be a good place, so they're all putting their money there. Some of them have $50 billion or more inside of Amazon. And then that drives the Amazon stock up, so they benefit, and Bezos gets richer and richer. Ultimately, that can't continue to speculate, and they're already saying that there'll probably be an adjustment next year. But we're worried that, you know, there will be really an economic collapse. You can't continue to concentrate wealth and have it in fewer and fewer hands in greater amounts and expect to be able to continue that forever. You just simply, it's just not going to happen. At the same time, you're destroying the environment in the world, so that's catching up with us very quickly as well. So we're faced with a real crisis for humanity in the world because of this concentration of global capitalism and the impacts that it's having and the dangers of allowing that kind of concentration to occur.
So what happened in 2016, the year that Donald Trump seized power? 62 men at the beginning of the year had as much wealth as half the world. By the time Donald Trump swore on the Bible, there were only 8 men who controlled half the world's wealth. What happened?
Capitalism is like a bicycle. You know, it just keeps moving forward. In order to stay upright, it has to keep moving forward. And so they keep piling greater and greater amounts of capital in their backpack as they're moving forward on this bike. And that's what's happening. We're seeing great concentration of global capital in the hands of fewer and fewer people, with only less than 200 managing the core of all of that. So we talk about the core, $50 trillion worth of capital. That's money. So Amazon itself became valued at over $1 trillion. They were one of the first companies in the world to reach that landmark. But that's not capital. I mean, that includes their buildings and their patents and everything else that has worth. We're talking here about the global power elite. They're managing capital, money, $50 trillion worth. And it's a major part of the free-flowing capital in the world, and they get to decide where to invest it. And one of their biggest problems is they got more capital than they've got good, safe places to put it. So that's where we get the neoliberal policies of austerity, and the capital is used to buy up public resources, buy up the commons, water rights, freeways, universities, whatever, anything that can have a return on it. But still, they have more capital than they know what to do with. So they do risky investments like the subprime mortgage loans. And they all knew that that was dangerous back in 2008. Mm-hmm. But they continued on ahead until it collapsed, and then the central banks had to bail them out around the world with trillions of dollars, put it all back together again. And that made it even accelerated the concentration. So you've got people in the upper 1%, 36 million millionaires, and 2,000 plus billionaires. And it's those people whose money is being managed by these giant investment firms. One of the ways that money, the surplus capital, is used, and we've seen this particularly for the last 20 years, is preparing for war, having wars, and then cleaning up after the wars. So war is a way of using up excess capital and giving a return to the investors worldwide. So permanent war is a fixture now of centralized capital.